Hi class, this is my daughter Josie. She's going to help me go over my top 10 words because a lot of the critical thinking I do goes towards being a mother. For my first word, I chose judgment. This critical thinking involves asking questions, trying new strategies, making connections, and having to find those sources to help you make those calls. It applies to me because I have to make judgment calls each day on being a mother, and you want to make sure you're making the best decision and you're utilizing all your sources. For my second word, I chose ambiguity. I believe this word is very relevant. It's looking at things at a different perspective, and that's very essential to critical thinking. Being a mom, I always have to look at different alternatives and find different ways to do things. So I use this word quite often when it comes to critical thinking, and I find it very valuable to me to always try to look at all the different resources and look at all the different routes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here on top of my judgment. I might have to use two hands to start working towards the building blocks of critical thinking. For my third word, I chose conclusion. I use this word because I always have to look at how I'm going to come to an idea or decide an idea. I have to decide if the statements I'm going to use and what I read is going to conclude on the route I take. And I always have to take all perspectives and ideas when making a decision when it comes to my daughter. So we're going to put this one on top as well. If anybody is a parent out there, they understand that things are constantly changing in the parenting world. New gadgets are coming out. There are new ways of doing things. So I use the word reflection to go back and look at the information that I was once told to see if there are changes or new ideas or thoughts or maybe something I missed on how to be a better mother or how to parent. So I use reflection in my critical thinking quite often, and I think it's a very key essential factor to critical thinking and using all your resources to reflect on what you think you know and what you didn't know. My next critical word is analysis. I think it's important to look at all the little small aspects of a picture and to gather all the different types of information before you come to a conclusion. When we step back and we take a minute to look at how we could do this better, or maybe we could get our daughter or son or children to sleep or help them with a situation versus just getting upset in the heat of the moment, I think that helps us become better parents, and I know it's helped me become a better mother, just taking a step back to analyze the situation. My next word is self-regulation. This word is how we process and how we focus. So I know for me to be able to focus, I need to be in an environment where I can have ideas and where I can feel free to express my ideas. Self-regulation is essential to critical thinking because people have to be aware of how they focus on a situation in order to do reasoning and logic. My next word is authority. I chose authority because when I am trying to come to a decision, I want it to come from a place of facts and not bias. When we are critically thinking, we need to take in the facts. We need to not be persuaded by the speaker or whoever. So if my daughter is sick, I want to go to someone factual. I do not want to be with someone who's going to give me a biased answer. So usually I will contact her pediatrician if I have any concerns, because I know she is in that field, and the information she's going to give me will be based on science and facts and not just simply opinions. My next word is credibility. I decided to use this word because I feel that it's important that when we are working towards finding sources, that we find valid sources to make a valid conclusion. With being a mother, anything I do, I want it to be credited. I want it to have a substantial reason on why it works. So when I am looking on answers and for answers, I know to go to sources that I can trust, such as her doctor. My mother is a very credible source, although, however, she can be biased. So I usually tend to go to people I know that won't be biased, or sources I know that aren't biased. For my next word, I decided to use consider. When considering, it's important for us to look at all perspectives and all routes, not to just go with what we think we know. Consideration is very important because it involves looking at other opinions and things that we might have not known. So I think when you are considering, you're reasoning and you're finding logic and you're applying that to your critical thinking. My last word is reasoning. I feel that this is my most important word at all the top 10 I used. This is the backbone of critical thinking. Reasoning is the thought put into action. It's how we come up with the actions we're going to do. So when reasoning, I try to look at all the pros and cons. I evaluate the situation. I apply all these words to help me come up with the actions I'm going to do. And that's why I put this one on the top. So this is my final product. I made it out of wooden blocks, and I just drilled a hole, I painted it, and I put all my words that I felt were critical to me. And I wanted it to be something that my child could play with, and blocks are something children play with. So these are kind of representative of childhood. I'm a mother, so these are important for my child. I also wanted to have it in a form of building blocks for what critical thinking is, and I feel that the blocks are actually representatives of those building blocks. So thank you everybody for watching my video and meeting my daughter, and I hope everybody has a good and safe, happy holidays.